Hey, Diva.
It's Becca, bitch.
All right, Becca, you ready?
Yeah.
Hi, chicken. You did this all by yourself?
Yeah.
Are you ready for this? You ready for the dime piece God flow?
That's right,
all right.
bitch. I'm a prom queen, but I keep to myself. Stacking high green. You're in debt to your health. AARP. Ain't shit over my wealth. And my op is getting dumber every day. Ha! Up in the gym, but I never need a witness. Tonic and gin when I'm working on my fitness.
On Becca, on God, we'll make you wish you had this hot spot. On Becca, on God, we'll make you wish you had this hot spot. Yeah.
On Becca, on God, I'll make you wish you had this hot spot. On Becca, on God, I'll make you wish you had this hot spot. I be funny sick,
Yeah.
like the dude tie on trend, all natural. Better give her text.
Dime.
They say blondie, how you getting those abs? Hey Bobby, let me call you a cat. Long legs, I'm a woman in steps. My eggs, fertile, healthy, and fat. My trays, flowing through like the taps. And my haters getting madder every day.
On Becca, on God, we'll make you wish you had this hot spot. On Becca, on God, we'll make you wish you had this hot spot. Yeah, on Becca, on God, we'll make you wish you had this hot spot. On Becca, on God, I'll make you wish you had this hot spot. Are you ready for my verse? Another day, another slay with my girl E3CC. You know me as the dime piece. Did you know I can spit cosine lease? Hey, Betty's flops, haters, peace for the center of attention, paparazzi, cheese. Don't count us out, we be decked out in glitter. We'll chew you up and spit you out like licorice. Bitter. The pop star and evil gay just murdered this beat. Now line up and pay respect to the gods of the ring. On Becca, on God, we'll make you wish you had this hot spot. On Becca, on God, we'll make you wish you had this hot spot. I can see why everyone wants to be us. It's kind of crazy.
Every booking is golden, you see. Perfect cards crafted for you and me. Yeah, the best guys, Tony Khan, it's true. Triple cup, best damn booker in the land. 3 red cups stacked up, always in command. Triple cup, living legend of the fight. Just a call away from making it right. Never see him back card, no way. Got the whole roster locked in for the day. A Crimson Tower, modern art. Triple cup, triple cup. Every booking is golden, you see. Perfect cards crafted for you and me. Yeah, the best guys, Tony Khan, it's true. Triple cup, best damn booker in the land. 3 red cups stacked up, always in command. Triple cup, living legend of the fight. Just a call away from making it right. Never see him back card, no way. Got the whole roster locked in for the day. A Crimson Tower, modern art. Triple cup, triple cup.
What's happening, guys? Welcome to another PWT run-in. Yeah. I am your host, the infallible Phil Marks. That's Phil S. Marks.
Fucking Mark!
And last night on PWT live show, you know, the last like hour and a half or so, we had a run-in by one Niccolo Piccolo, and so I interviewed him, and there was a bunch of stuff that I still wanted to get to that we never got to, which is totally fine. We got some Tony Khan cringe on deck. We're going to talk about Asuka. We got some WWE news just in general. Okay, but we have the whole Asuka saga of her leaving WWE. You know, was she fired? Whatever. We're going to cover all of that because it's pretty much all been revealed. And then Tony Khan had the ROH Supercard of Honor media call, which the Observer was all over, of course. And then TripleMania is going to be 2 nights once again. And I just want to cover this stuff because I was going to talk about it last night. But again, on PWT live show last night, Time Cop, Niccolo Piccolo did a run-in. And it was an awesome interview. I'm going to get it up, the audio of the interview. I'll get up on like the PWT podcast RSS feed or whatever. I'll get that done for you guys as soon as I can. I got like a couple pods in the bank, and one of them I've had in the bank for like a month since before Mania. Okay. But we didn't talk. It wasn't like all Mania talk really, you know? So, and there was like some technical difficulties. So, yeah, but I'm going to get that out. And then, yeah, I'm recording one, or I'm going to go live with, I'm going to go live on Sunday, maybe. I don't know, guys. Vote in the poll in the chat, youtube.com/@ProWrestleClips. Should your boy Phil do Dave Meltzer dumb moment? Usually we do Dave Meltzer dumb moment. Okay, we're not going to do it tonight. Should I do it tomorrow or should I do it Saturday? If I do it Saturday, I might do it earlier because the Ronda Rousey fight is on, and I don't want to be doing Dave Meltzer dumb moment during the first Netflix MMA card. This is historic. Think of what you will of the card, but it's historic for MMA fans, combat sport fans in general. MMA on Netflix is huge, you know. I'm not saying it's like the greatest card of all time. I'm not saying that it just reminds me of like, you know, Strikeforce would kind of do some shit like this. And they did have the best in the world, but you know, Frank Shamrock would come out of retirement or whatever, you know, like you'd get some fights where it's like, okay, Dan Henderson's going to be our light heavyweight champion type shit. So even though at the UFC, he wasn't like as peak as he was, Dan Henderson had a funny story too, because well, not a funny story. His story's legendary as fuck, but just a funny course of events. Like, you know, he's in the UFC at middleweight, whatever. Anderson Silva beats him. He has some fights, whatever. He goes to Strikeforce. He fights at 205, wins their title. I think he even won their middleweight title, or maybe Jake Shields beat him. I actually can't remember. So many goddamn great fights over the years. And then what happened with Henderson? He knocks out Fedor at heavyweight, coming in weighing like 206, and then he goes back to UFC and goes on a crazy run. But there was like a TRT era where like he was able to do some TRT and like extend his shit, and he was all lethal again. So yeah. Shout out Dan Henderson. Anyways, I don't even know. That's where Ilya Dragunov gets his move from, the H-bomb. Okay, so we give Dan Henderson his due rather. So yeah, and there's not much Dave Meltzer stuff in the Dave Meltzer dumb moment of the week folder, anyways, in Phil Marks bookmarks, because I don't know. There's like 7 things in there, and yeah, it's just like, you know, I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I want to get done what I had planned yesterday. Okay. And the thing that I had planned yesterday literally was perfect timing when Nick came in, because we were just doing Ichi ni Sanda. And it is time for AEW news / the best guys, Tony Khan.
Best guys, Tony Khan.
Brought to you by patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes. Hit like, hit subscribe, retweet, heart, all that good stuff. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, just support. You guys can super chat in. You can become a member. You can join patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes. Those are pretty much, that's my plugs. So Tony Khan last week, over a week now at this point, Time Cop brought up Ted Turner, and there was just an interesting anecdote, and so this old tweet resurfaced. So I just kind of wanted to talk about this again, and we're going to felt tone a little bit. And so Wrestle Inc. posted this back in 2021. Backstage talk on how hashtag WWE feels about Tony Khan spending big to keep AEW going. And then Tony Khan says, I've never met Ted Turner. It's very possible Ted Turner is smarter than me, but he didn't know 1% of what I know about professional wrestling, or WCW would still be on TNT/TBS. AEW is here to stay. Watch Rampage live tonight. Oh my goodness. The bittersweet irony, dude. AEW's here to stay. Just the irony of watch Rampage live tonight. We're fucking, it's dead, you know? That thing's fucking gone with the wind a year later or whatever. AEW Rampage live tonight on TNT, or watch TNT app on your phone or any device. So you know what I mean? He didn't know 1% of what I know about wrestling. Right? Meanwhile, this fool, and I tweeted this out, making the Ted Turner segment about Tony Khan is peak AEW cringe, bro. Because it is. And I'm not going to play it, but you guys heard it. And you guys saw it. Sting is talking about Ted Turner, and then he goes, and that's why we need to get behind another billionaire who loves pro wrestling, Tony Khan, and take AEW to do
the best guys, Tony Khan.
No, Tone's sitting there. Steamboat Tone told him to do it, or he doesn't get fucking private plane flights anymore, or whatever. So, Tone's a little bit cringe, obviously. Not a little bit, a lot. But somebody pointed this out, and this comes from Tony Schiavone, and this is courtesy of Raj Giri. He goes, so this kills the argument that Turner would have dropped WCW even if the AOL Time Warner merger didn't happen. So Tony Schiavone, or Schiavone, as Chris Jericho would call him, recalls seeing Ted Turner at a urinal, at the pisser, in the loo, after the WCW sales. Schiavone said, I remember vividly the first words out of Turner's mouth was, those motherfuckers. AOL Time Warner in fucking parentheses in brackets, we understand. If I was still running this place, wrestling would still be on TBS. It would still be on TNT. I believe him. Didn't he kind of get like strong-armed in a weird way, like out of power of his own company? And that's what's crazy. These companies get so big, and then you eventually like have to take a back seat, and then you don't really own shit. And obviously the older you get, like, it's fine. It's not like they tarnished his legacy or anything, but a lot of people say that, WCW was Ted Turner's, you would have kept it on the air, blah blah blah. You've heard that, I'm sure, over the decades. Certainly there's many different narratives surrounding what killed or what didn't keep WCW alive, because Bischoff was even trying to keep it alive, but it just wasn't really up to Ted Turner anymore. If only Niccolo Piccolo was here to break down this whole situation. We could do a deep dive on this with him maybe next time he comes on. I don't know if he's interested in all this, but so that was just interesting. And I do think it's should be voted most disgusting promotional tactic in the Observer. I truly believe that it should be. If quote unquote bragging about being successful or touting success should be, then not only should AEW be nominated for that, much like WWE, because AEW does it and it's not really reality. But furthermore, Tone does shit like make the Ted Turner tribute about him. Tone obviously told Sting to do that. Nobody came up with that idea. Hey, I'm going to go out there and fucking say this other than Tone. There's no way Sting was like, I'm going to go and make it about Tony Khan to make him feel good. And maybe he did. Then maybe he'll cop to that. But I just don't believe it for 1 second. Why? You might be asking. Why, Phil Marks? Wouldn't you think Sting would come up with that and not just Tone himself? Well, because remember this stuff? Remember when Tone would cut promos? Well, this is just a cringe one, but do you guys remember when Tone Schiavone, would show up on TNA and like cut promos on WWE? They wouldn't even do it on their own fucking TV show. They'd wait till they were on TNA to talk shit. So yeah, here's just a cringe moment, and this is why you know Tone's coming up with this
As
shit.
the Forbidden Door. I read
As the Forbidden Door. Like, you guys see what I'm saying? He's the Forbidden Door. Like, he just thinks he's the shit. Right? I'm a G. You can't see me. That must be why you talk. Shut your mouth, bitch. I'm the shit, and you know it never stops. There's no stopping. It don't stop. Oh, my God.
As the Forbidden Door. I read in the Observer today
Smoking Dro. Oh, as we cruise the streets of Compton.
that New Japan Pro Wrestling apparently has had
As we
talks
cruise
with
the streets of Jacksonville.
WWE's president, Nick Khan. Well, Nick, I have to say, if you've been talking to New Japan Pro Wrestling for 2 months, you've gotten a lot done. Just in the last 2 weeks, I've had Yuji Nagata, Ren Narita, and Rocky Romero on AEW. I've reunited Roppongi Vice.
Roppongi Vice. Listen how proud he is of Roppongi Vice, buddy.
Rocky Romero on AEW. I've reunited Roppongi Vice. I've had the New Japan IWGP US champion Jon Moxley defend the title successfully.
I've had the New Japan title defended successfully. So you paid New Japan to let you do that? I mean, okay. I guess that's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know.
Moxley defend the title successfully on our show, retaining it. And I have future plans with New Japan Pro Wrestling for the U.S. title. So you must have really gotten a lot done in the 2 months, Nick. In fact, I think there's only room for one Khan in the wrestling business.
And he's literally cutting a promo on Nick Khan, too, lest we forget, dude. Nick, I think I've done a lot. He's just real amped up and angry.
You must have really gotten a lot done in the 2 months, Nick. In fact, I think there's only room for one Khan in the wrestling business, Nick. And it's me, it's Tony Khan. It's not some Khan.
Imagine this. Imagine your fucking Tone and you're like on the verge of tears cutting this fucking promo at Nick Khan, and Nick Khan doesn't respond at all. He just runs a PLE on the same day as your shit and makes you go earlier.
The best guys, Tony Khan.
It's so funny.
And
take that, Mortimer. I mean, Nick Khan.
it's me, it's Tony Khan. It's not some con man from Connecticut.
And it's so funny, Con Man. Like, that's what everybody calls him.
Not some con man from Connecticut. Have a fun show tonight, Nick. See you on Dynamite.
Have a fun show tonight, Nick. See you on Dynamite. Have a fun show tonight. See you on Dynamite. He's like, I ain't watching that shit.
Stupid idiot.
Nick Khan's like, what? Who are you? No. Obviously he knows, but that shit is so funny. What an impassioned promo, and just thinks I am the Forbidden Door. Nick Khan's like, we will just buy New Japan, right? Like, we've thought about that. We've talked about just buying that shit. You know that, right? That's the thing, man. If Tone really cared, I'm glad he doesn't. I shouldn't give him any ideas, but like Tone, was put in that bid for WWE. He was going to buy WWE like 3 years ago, guys. He put in a bid 3-4 years ago. Like, he could just swoop in and make an offer for Nuge or CMLL, realistically. Oh, man. Tone, he was just so passionate there. I love it. So Tone's passion resulted in him buying ROH, of course, and it has just been dead. It has just been a dead scene. Now, shout out Athena. Tone put out a quote that I didn't bookmark because, again, I don't want to shit on Athena, but it's like Tone was like, what was he saying? She's had like the best run of pay-per-view matches of all time or something. And it's like, well, pay-per-view means like people bought the fucking pay-per-view too, Tone. It's not just doing the moves. Like that's action figure shit, you know? And it's just so revealing. It's disappointing, but maybe it's not. Like a bunch of these folks are getting paid. Again, it's just AEW light. Like there's no, it's just a bunch of wrestlers that you could just start like a serious fed with and book some of these people seriously. You know, there's no difference between this and AEW. Just this has ROH slapped on it. It's just AEW with ROH skin slapped on it. And it's disappointing. And also for some reason, like Bandito's on all this shit, but he can't work for AEW that much. And then Dave's like, well, he's popular, but you know, it's a visa issue. But he's on all these ROH shows, on all the pay-per-views, not all the TVs, but they get him for the pay-per-views. They can't get him for week-to-week TV. Like, what's going on with that? But then he shows up in Canada or whatever. So I don't know, dude. I really don't know what's going on with Bandito there. But they're in Salisbury, Maryland. Salisbury, my favorite TV dinner protein. Right? And yeah, it's Supercard of Honor coming up. And like you see Deonna Purrazzo there, you see Bandito. I mean, it's just going to be matches. So if you're into that, I think Nigel McGuinness is on there. So he's going to wrestle. He's like a regular ROH guy, but not AEW guy, is what it is. And I just think like at this point, man, it's such a wasted opportunity, especially now, Tone, where you're going to Roku, you're going to my AEW, you're going to YouTube and shit. Just put ROH on a hiatus and then reinvigorate it, reinvent it, and make it different. Like have it just be all the young guys, or just let someone else book it, produce it, everything entirely, and make it its own thing and say, I want you to compete with me, but I own both of these things. Make ROH cool again. You know, but Tone is sitting here getting asked about ROH for the media call because, and here's the other fucking thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when Jim Cornette was running ROH or booking it or whatever era, okay, were they doing media calls for ROH shows, or is that just a fucking Tony Khan thing that he started because he does them for TNA stuff? You know? And I'm happy that like this is one way, him bringing the media call aspect. Like, you know, more people, I guess, talk about just the pay-per-view of ROH, but did they really? Like, maybe I'm just lying to myself, right? But the official media call begun, and the Observer wrote this, asked about what Tone is leaning on for reliable TV ratings metrics for AEW and ROH, given all the changes. Khan said Nielsen does a great job, and they are on top in the industry with insights and info. He looks at their data frequently during the week and has a lot of confidence in them. He said, my AEW has given them tremendous info on international viewers. So when Dave tries to debunk all the Nielsen shit, Tone is like, no, I believe in what they say. I believe in what they're doing. I have faith in their numbers. So then when Dave does all this fucking flip-flopping and coping for them and explaining how Nielsen's incorrect all the time and it's wonky and blah, blah, blah.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Tone's like, no, our bad ratings are our bad ratings and our good ratings are our good ratings, and they're doing a good job or whatever. So anytime you see Dave like, oh, well, actually this and that, like, fuck him, you know, not even Tone. Like, that's actually a W for Tone. So, because he isn't even tripping out about that or, you know, putting any weight on that. So he says that he looks at their data frequently. Yeah. And then he said, my AEW has given them tremendous info on international viewers, which, whatever. Okay. Maybe it has. my AEW is what's going to happen, guys. Like, that is just what's going to be rolled out, and this is where they're going to end up primarily. They'll be promoting my AEW on a YouTube show and then trying to work out. Now, if you listen to Nick, he was on PWT, Niccolo Piccolo. He was like pretty doom and gloom on anything positive really happening. But we didn't dwell on that too much. But, it's pretty much just like they're pretty well cooked, when it comes down to them ending up anywhere. So it's interesting too that Tone brings this up while talking about ROH, because of course ROH, like if you have Honor Club, you have my AEW or whatever. So I just don't know what Nielsen has to do with ROH. Like, where does ROH air other than like YouTube or on my AEW / Honor Club? I'm actually not even sure. Does it air anywhere? And I know Nielsen does numbers for YouTube and stuff, or they track to some degree, right? But also YouTube does. I mean, YouTube's numbers are YouTube's numbers. They're pretty transparent, So interesting that he brings that up. We move along in this media call, and here's the thing, man. We've said forever, and I've said it a million times on the show, and we as fans have said forever, for decades, that Vince McMahon is spread too thin. He's trying to do XFL. He's booking SmackDown. He's booking Raw. He's fucking booking the pay-per-views. He's doing this, that, and the third, and he's spread too thin just in the wrestling space and like XFL. So here's Tone, who's like, I'm on the committee for the NFL. I do the draft with my little cardboard cutout, my neck brace. It's great. I sign a 7th round draft pick once a year. Doesn't really work out good, but it's all good. Right? And he's like running, he's always at different schools and he's running summer camps. No, he's like at the NBA games and he's we got All-Star Weekend and he's booking all of ROH and all of AEW and they're adding pay-per-views and he's just doing everything. And when you say, yo, this kid is spread too thin, he's inexperienced and spread too thin. And people just won't accept that as a valid criticism. And it's like, listen to this right here. Tony Khan says, he loves that ROH Jacksonville TV tapings are right across from Daly's place and that he can give his full attention and focus on the shows when they happen. So just pretty much copping to the fact that like he wasn't before.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
Confirming what Phil Marks, PWT, and the IWC, a certain section of the IWC at large, has been fucking saying
just
forever.
In from
He's
Phil
not,
Marks of PWT. He says,
he's not giving his
I told you so.
I knew it was coming. Full attention, okay, to the ROH product, if you will. And he's spread too goddamn thin. And now he's like, yeah, it's great that it's by Daly's place so I can do football stuff, wake up because I have a suite here. And then I fucking run down to the tapings and I can actually focus on ROH. That's crazy. So how are you focused on Dynamite when it's in different cities all over the place? Like, he's happy he can finally focus on ROH because it's at Daly's place where he can roll out of bed, put his slippers on, and fucking... He has to have a suite there or something, right? Like, and then he runs over and, takes care of the taping and the booking, which is all last second for ROH anyways. So when, Dynamite's in another city, that's not getting his full attention, and he doesn't even realize that that's what he's saying. And he doesn't realize that that's a critique people give him. And maybe Tone's self-aware, but everybody fucking sweeps for him and doesn't, comes after you if you point this shit out. It's just like objectively observable. So we move along here, right? And Tone had this to say. Oh, and I skipped over this. This had to do with Ted Turner. So we'll circle back to that. But Swerve Strickland he defends Tony Khan's social media behavior. Right? So this is courtesy of Ringside News. And, one thing people point out about Tone constantly is like, dude, he's just so cringy online. And so Swerve Strickland shuts down claims Tony Khan's pettiness has hurt AEW. And so Bootleg Kev, he asked whether Tony Khan's pettiness has hurt AEW and Tone in general. Swerve said he does not think Khan's behavior has any meaningful negative impact and pointed out that wrestling history includes far more controversial comments than anything Khan has posted. And it's like, dude, that's not the point, Swerve. That's the problem. That's not the point at all. You just like moved the goalpost on that one. Oh, well, in the past, before social media was a thing, people said we're shit. It's like, well, how is that addressing whether or not his pettiness has affected the way people perceive him in the company? And here's a major thing that I constantly point out. There's just an overall lack of awareness. And when you're there and you're aware, like CM Punk, you fucking get angry and you fight people, or you fucking are like, dude, they're treating me like shit. You want to get out of there. Okay? And we've seen it time and time again. So Swerve had this to say. He goes, has it hurt him? I don't think so, because there were things being said on TV years ago that were way worse, way more. We're not even talking about what Tone said on TV, bud. And then he says, but also there are things that people don't forget. But to say the pettiness has hurt him, I don't believe so. Bro, the petty Ted Turner comments didn't hurt him. Because now people are felting him for saying, oh, he didn't know 1% of what I knew about pro wrestling. Like, you don't think little petty jabs like that? Even Tone is doing the coaching, bro. Like, nah, I'm just, I just think Jesus wouldn't want me to be petty. And neither would Pete the Cat. And he bullies me. So Swerve continues and says, I don't believe so, because there's always going to be a need for someone like Tony Khan in this position. Yeah, there's always going to be a need for like a money mark. What position? Because even Tone, again, I'm giving Tone the benefit of the doubt here. Tone's way more self-aware than this. Okay? Or maybe he isn't. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit. But Tone gives himself 17 job titles. So which position, right, are you talking about? As a money guy? Yeah, for sure. As a booker, creative, I don't know, man. I don't think he needs to be in this position. I think if someone else was in that position and then he just put the money up and then like maybe pitched ideas, but just let people who know what the fuck they're doing and who are smarter than him teach him, and like have the buck end with someone that Tone goes, you know what, no matter what, this guy's creative, I'm going to fucking bank on right now, And the problem is even the concept of the company, you have 5 EVPs and then Tone. So they all want the buck to stop with them in whatever section they're doing. You need to have a cohesive show. So, again, I think Tone as a money guy and like even pitching ideas, man. I'm not even like, if Tone goes, hey, I see something in this Michael Oku kid, or like Kevin Knight. I didn't know who the fuck Kevin Knight was before AEW. And Kevin Knight honestly rules. Okay. He had a fucking banger match with Brian Cage. The problem is Tone's just not booking him well, and he's booking him strong in a sour grapes era where people are like, dude, this Darby shit, now Tone's going to start like getting Kevin Knight in the mix there after he just won a mid-title. It's like, just have him do some storylines in the mid-title area for a bit, and then you mix him up once this Darby shit blows over. You mix him up in the, you push him a little bit, and Takeshita and whatnot. Darby beats Takeshita. People are going, what the hell? Like people are not happy with AEW right now, okay? And the shows haven't been so good as of late. Just the pacing of them and whatnot. They're just boring and just nothing really to sink your teeth into whatsoever. And yeah, I think the whole Kevin Knight Darby stuff, like him being involved in that in any way, is just kind of overbooking that whole angle. Like Darby and MJF should be able to carry it the way they have between the two of them. That's the thing. Like in WWE, right? Who's feuding? It's Jacob and fucking Roman, and they can carry that. It's Roman and Punk, and they can carry that. yes, there's other characters who float in and out, but just to always have, it seems like in AEW, there's always like, and here's the third guy that we're not really going to push yet, but he's kind of like here in the mix. And like, Kevin Knight's really good. I think he's right in there, but he's holding the mid title. And there's like a story, like, let me know who the fuck he is as a guy. He's just a guy that you say wrestles good, So I'm getting off track here, but we're talking positions. Okay. Tone is a money guy. Yes, you always need that guy. As a creative guy, I don't know. It might just be saturating shit, and some of these people could be getting more over and getting booked better if he had a little humility, Swerve then pointed to something fans rarely see: Khan's relationships behind the scenes. Now, again, we don't need to see that. And they think, like, here's the thing, right? Swerve thinks that because Tony Khan is nice to him behind the scenes and their friends behind the scenes, that should make me give a fuck about whether the show's good or not. You know what I mean? Like, Elon Musk can be as friendly to Joe Rogan as he wants. He's still a fucking billionaire polluting the fucking air with his data mining centers or whatever the fuck. Okay? At the end of the day. And I'm not saying like, oh, Tone's pollute, but he's polluting the airwaves. A rebel, Eminem. But he's polluting the fucking airwaves with some of this stanky ass wrestling. I'm just being honest. Okay? And he pushes some people, as Rick James would say, they should have never gave you money. Some people get pushes, like we're forced to watch in order to see some of these guys like Edge and Christian we really want to see. We got to sit through fucking Orange Cassidy bullshit and stuff, right? And even some AEW fans, and you can see it in the ratings, that Tone gleefully accepts as wholehearted truth, right? Darby ain't it. And they had something with MJF, and they had like Kenny and Andrade in the mix. And then what does Tone do? Oh, quick, let's fuck it all up. Darby, you get the belt for a bit, and then Kenny and the Bucks can just go be in a fucking arena mayhem match or whatever again. Instead of like continuing, okay, you got fucking MJF, you got Andrade, you got Omega, you got Hangman, Moxley's looming, Ospreay's there. And of course, he's never been booked good in AEW. Ospreay's the worst fucking booked guy ever in AEW. Maybe the worst booked ever in AEW. Like worse than Garcia and Yuta and shit. And then Joe comes back. And imagine he creeps in out of nowhere. And then you're like, holy fuck. And then Joe's coming after MJF. Like you had it all right there. Tone had the whole build to All In, like right there. And then Ospreay fights through these guys, and MJF kind of wards these dudes off, and then and then they both survive and make it to All In, and then they, ultimately Ospreay gets crowned, and he's the over fucking baby face, on top of the world and shit, like it was right there. They have to do all this shit they're doing. But again, so positions. I can't get off this position here. I'm beating this dead horse to death. I'm kicking this leg from this leg, Brett, when it comes to Tone and his creativity. But again, like, I don't give a fuck that Tone is like friendly to you. I would be friendly to him. I'm sure he's a great guy. I bet we would just talk about matches and shit. I had some shit, some videos exporting last night, and I threw on WWE 2K, and I was downloading Psychosis and Super Crazy and Juventud. I'm sure we'd have some fucking talks about some old WCW cruiserweight matches and shit. I'm sure he's a great guy. I've never been like, he's a piece of shit fucking loser. At least I haven't. Maybe some people have. I don't even like saying Tone's a cokehead, really, because I really don't think that. He's a square, dude. That guy, he just fucking takes Adderalls and drinks coffee. It's rich people shit. Just infinite supply of Addies. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even think that's that crazy to say, And would you be shocked at that? You know, and maybe he's partied in his day. He's a 40-year-old man. Okay, everybody's the doke. Everybody's dabbled. I dabble. You know, no. Everybody was 23 and partied. You know what I'm saying? So the relationships Tony has, you don't know how deep the relationships really go. And it's like, well, we know how deep they go. Well, we do know because you all say this all the time, but we know how deep they go with the dirt sheets. We know how deep they go with Dave Meltzer and John Alba and fucking Rita Chatterton randomly. You know, there's a lot of weird, deep relationships too going on where it's like, what the fuck is going on here? Why is this guy on salary or whatever? So it is what it is, man. We get it. We know that you like him, but his pettiness has definitely, like, if you're going to sit there and say Triple H's ego has affected the way people perceive him, or even his pettiness at times in the locker room even, or, I mean, some people perceive how he handles himself now. They would label it petty, like the way he goes at LA Knight and shit like that on Unreal. But that's bullshit. He's just being the boss, right? But his pettiness in the locker room, like think about he was a part of the Montreal screw job, or maybe, you know, he was a part of dudes getting super kicked and thrown in fucking a taxi cab or whatever that has an OVW, or he was thrown in like a fucking piece of luggage that said OVW on it, or Ohio or whatever. Like that's petty as fuck for sure. You know, and so if you perceive him that way, then that's reality. See how people can just accept that as reality. But with Tone, you have to accept his little jabs at like John Cena and The Undertaker and shit. Yeah, dude, that doesn't fare well with fucking anyone, really. There would be no Young Bucks who fucking own or executive vice presidents of your company if it wasn't for Shawn Michaels. So, you know, I know you're blessed with a gorgeous head of hair. I am too, but Tone, you know, he's got the curly locks and whatnot, right? And it's unfortunate. Dude's bald, man. You really gonna pick on them for that, Tone? No, Tone gets way worse shit than that said about him on a regular. When you type in Tony Khan on X, the thing that comes up before Tony Khan's Twitter account is Tony Khan Coke. That's the name of the Twitter account. It's actually crazy. So Swerve says, like, this goes beyond Twitter discussion. This goes beyond a newspaper ad. This goes beyond even like talking on CNN, right? You don't know how deep these relationships can go because there's always something that Tony can offer, something that can just make someone go, you know what, whatever issues or pettiness we've had before, we can move past that. That doesn't matter. We can continue business with this. Okay, maybe I need to hear this in context, but it's like, what does that even mean? It goes deeper than CNN. And that's why I was on the football field talking about Tony lets me do what I want and we're going to be on Fox. And then that never happened. So, okay, TKO's relationships don't go deep and the pettiness might have affected him fucking securing a TV deal or getting involved with Paramount in any way, shape, or form when the fucking merger happens or the acquisition happens, however you want to fucking phrase it. That didn't affect that at all because, you know, the pettiness didn't affect that. It goes beyond CNN and shit, man. Yeah, for sure, buddy. So when I say that and when people say that that's going to affect their TV deal, Swerve agrees with that. Okay. Swerve can offer a billionaire connections. What the fuck? They'd be in business with him right now. Okay, do you think Tone working with TKO and all that shit isn't on that? He tried to buy the WWE guys. You think that's hasn't been on the table before any of this was even a thing? You know, he's a fucking billionaire. He could have got involved in WWE probably a long time ago. It's just that wrestlers, the boys did what the boys do. They fucking talk Tone into starting a Fed because he has billions. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just very much in a bubble, dude. AEW, they're in a bubble. So I skipped over this by accident. But Tone, he talks about AEW success comes from standing on the shoulders of the giant that is Ted Turner. Of course, he is talking about the mental giant Ted Turner who knows less than 1% knows 1% Thank you. Knows sorry, just getting a wife bringing me a coffee. Knows less than 1% or knows of 1% of wrestling. Sorry, I got distracted there. 1% of wrestling that Tone knows, Ted Turner knows, and I know nothing, and I just spurged out there. Let's listen to this clip and shout out Thunder Rosa, who's got a gig on this is Busted Open Nation, right? Yeah, Busted Open Serious, and then this is titled here on the watermark, Off the Ropes with Jonathan Coachman. I don't see Coachman here, so Rosa and Coachman have a show on Sirius under the Busted Open radio thing. I didn't even know that. That's actually crazy.
This week has been a unique time in pro wrestling. It was a hard week for people at TBS and TNT, and I want to send my condolences to everybody associated with Ted Turner. I think Ted Turner is one of the greatest legends in the history of media and sports. He has touched so many lives.
He like wrote this down. Listen to how unenthusiastically and just man, Tone, why weren't you fucking saying this? Why were you tweeting out shit about Ted Turner's a great businessman, but he doesn't know 1% of wrestling? Or 1% about wrestling that I do. You guys know, I don't even know how to phrase it. It's so retarded, right? And Tone is now glazing him. He doesn't even seem serious about it. He seems less passionate than that tweet came across. And also, if it was up to Ted Turner, he would have kept WCW alive. That shit probably would still be fucking going if he was just had full control of that shit like Vince McMahon, if we're to believe Ted Turner's words, which I goddamn do, Tone. Okay? Someone said in chat, they recycle because of Ted Turner. They learned recycling because of that, man. You know what I mean? So Tone just sitting here, like talking out of his ass. Listen to just the mundane monotone. He just doesn't believe what he's saying.
This week has been a unique time in pro wrestling. It was a hard week for people at TBS and TNT, and I want to send my condolences to everybody associated with Ted Turner. I think Ted Turner is one of the greatest legends in the history of media and sports. He has touched so many lives in one way or another for many people in so many different ways across so many different platforms and enterprises.
This is a written fucking statement that ChatGPT wrote for him. Oh my God. This isn't even real, man. If Ted Turner knew 1% of what I knew about wrestling, WCW would still be alive. Meanwhile, AEW is about to not be on Turner. And according to Tony Schiavone, who works for you, Ted Turner would have kept WCW alive. And you don't believe this shit. You were taking shots at, and Jim Crockett and Eric Bischoff, and I have a lot more money, and I'm not going to take this shit. Remember all that stuff? Now listen to him when Ted Turner passes away. Think about he's on Turner's network saying shit like that about Ted Turner. Fuck, man.
He pioneered television, cable television.
Tone's more excited when he's standing on the cuck chair in the motel room reading the fucking matches for Collision after he texted them to Dave for approval.
News through Ted's love of pro wrestling and his love of sports. He built an incredible sports empire that will live forever and fittingly bears the name Turner. For us at AEW, it's an honor to do the shows every week on TBS and TNT, these networks that bear the name of Ted Turner, one of the greatest patrons and executives in the history of professional wrestling and sports. And it's very fitting that we get to do these shows. AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite, AEW Saturday Collision tomorrow on
and Rampage once upon a time, a long time ago.
The Turner networks. And I am in awe of Ted Turner and eternally grateful to him for the platform.
And I feared for my life at a wrestling show. Oh shit, wrong statement. Sorry.
Platforms that he built that have allowed us to launch AEW. And I think all of our success comes from standing on the shoulders of the giant that is Ted Turner.
Yeah, more like fucking standing on his shoulder as the tide comes in, fucking holding his head underwater. Jesus Christ. And so did him doing the coach and bro mean he agreed to do a fucking spot on this thing or what? What's going on here? And like that just
This
seemed like
week
some sort
has
of
been-
written state. Maybe he did write the statement, but like, goddamn, say it enthusiastically. That's nutty, man. So speaking of nutty, just a couple little tidbits of AEW news that broke today. Or not really broke, I guess, because this was last night. Time Cop! But one thing that's getting trolled relentlessly is this clip. You just see it everywhere and people trolling it. So this guy Westbrook, I guess is his name. He wrestled Mike Bailey and he just completely fucked up. So
to the corner.
he went for like a triangle, whatever, and then he just botched and everyone's clowning him. And a bunch of the boys are like getting his back and being like, oh, he's a good wrestler. You fuck up. And you do. It's like always something you do a million times you fuck up on, right? Just like me, I get handed a fucking delicious iced coffee and I forget how to speak for a solid 30 seconds, right? It happens to the best of us, right? I'd be talking for 5 hours and shit. So you're going to fuck up here and there. The problem is nobody knows this guy. He's going to the limit with Mike Bailey. And even if he didn't go to the limit the way, I don't know, man, just everybody goes to the limit, push it to the limit. You guys know this. Okay. In AEW, fucking Kevin Knight goes to the limit with everybody. That was Kyle Fletcher's shtick where he just went to the limit with everybody. Mike Bailey goes to the limit with everybody. And then you get like a random MJF gets squashed. And then you have like these jobbers come in who are doing shit like this because they know that that's going to get them hired. If they impress Tone with some bullshit like this. And again, this is called like AEW news / like, you know, PWT. Told ya. You know, like we've been talking about this shit forever. And this has been the recurring theme, not only Tony's creative throughout this segment, but also just like motherfuckers, and I've said this so many times, they come into this company and they just try to impress Tone to get on the salary, to get the all elite graphic, because that means you're 100,000 or more. Otherwise, you're signed to an exclusive and you're getting paid very, very little comparatively. If you were in NXT, you'd probably get paid more. You for sure would. And you're like exclusive to AEW. Tone can tell you what indies you can and can't do, and he books you whenever he wants. So some people who are on those deals typically work for like ROH, and then they are trying to impress Tone as well. But that's why this happens, because the boys know this, and it just rings true. And people go, "Look, dude, this is Mark ass shit," and sickos don't want to accept
Phil
it.
Marks of PWT. He says,
But again,
I told you so.
I'm not shitting on this guy, but why is he coming in there with Mike Bailey and going, I'm going to have a good showing and backflip over this top rope and do why are you even doing that? I would fucking fire you, dude. If that was my Fed, you don't see like when James Ellsworth came in, is that what he did? Or did he come in, have no chin, a hilarious look, get squashed brilliantly, and then people go, oh man, we kind of want to see this. Or Vince is like, oh, that's good shit, pal. They bring him back, and then eventually he's like in a title match against AJ Styles. You know, man, there's a way to do it, and this ain't the way to fucking do it. But they just want to impress Tone. And when they show up to TV and Tone goes, you actually have 4 minutes or whatever it was with Mike Bailey, 7 minutes. This dude's like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm going to show what I got. And if I impress him, like that's what ROH should be for. And I'm not saying don't give a jobber a fucking match, but who did he run this by? Who produced this match? Who is agenting this? Why doesn't the buck stop with Tony Khan where he's like, just don't even do this at all? Like, how about we just don't do that part? And he just wheel kicks you and pins you because no one knows who the fuck you are right now. Okay, you can get a few moves in and then Mike Bailey beats this guy. Or just how about don't do this match? How about that? If everything's got to be competitive, how about just don't do this and let a guy who does flips, and we see him all the time, like just put Ricochet in there.
Ducks underneath. Hammer throw. To the corner. Well, that happened.
And some people were shitting on Brian Cage, where Kevin Knight like went for the Frankensteiner, slipped, and then Cage caught him and then pulled him up. I thought this was an epic part of the match because yes, it was a botch, but it was like they saved it in a weird shoot, fucking like a struggle way. It was a struggle sesh, you know, like everything can't just be buttery smooth all the time. And the way Knight was selling it was perfect. He immediately switched to, oh, I'm getting powered up. So Knight like slipped off the Hurricane Rana. Cage caught him, saved his life and his career, started powering him up, and then stood up on the second rope. So instead of just flipping from his butt and his feet and then like rolling off and bumping for the Hurricane Rana, instead he powered Knight up, and then Knight did the Hurricane Rana, and he took the bump from like a higher standing position on the middle rope. Does that make sense? So Cage saved that and made it look cool. So I don't chalk that up. To me, I don't know. I didn't even really register. That was like, oh, that's a dope. It's like when Seth Rollins at Backlash kind of fucked up. It's like we've seen him do that move a million times, in the recovery almost made it better. Because that's like the, oh shit, like, you know, it's like chaos in a way where it's not just like, and I'm not saying everything's got to be a botch fest, but there's a difference between this, like a jobber guy doing a flip over the rope, falling, curling up while Mike Bailey just stands there and just watches him like a dumbass, you know? Like instantly run at him and glom him, or instantly run at him and go Gamengiri or whatever, fucking Enziguri me, or sweep the leg and fucking go springboard on me or something. Like, you got to call a spot. You got to do something. Okay. He's just standing there looking at him. And he's already looking at him for a long ass time. Like, look at how long he's watching this guy run and do this shit.
Tucks underneath. Hammer throw to the corner.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody looks goofy, and it's not Seth Rollins. So if you're Seth Rollins, you can fuck this up. Ric Flair fucked up once in a while. You know what I mean? Remember Ric Flair would do the like run into the buckle flip over to the apron or whatever, or like the flip up. Or no, Charlotte Flair does the over to the apron, but Ric Flair would do like the buckle flip and then he'd fall down or whatever. Or land on his feet. He'd roll out back onto his feet. Or like, let's say Shawn Michaels skinned the cat and he slipped or something. Like, okay. That's one thing. But this is just silly and it's avoidable. And you don't need to do this, and it just makes Mike Bailey look stupid.
Well, that happens. Yes, it does. That's why I never did that stuff. Well,
and then Taz just goes, that happens. That's why I never did that stuff. Exactly. So I don't know, man. I'm not saying that's the end of the world for AEW, but just stop, man. Learn to book better, Tone. Okay. And then this news came out here this morning or this afternoon about Mick Foley. And he says, or pardon me, multiple sources say, and this is according to John Alba and SI Wrestling and Wrestle Purist Post, multiple sources say that AEW has expressed real interest in working with Mick Foley this year, though the capacity of which is not known. How about this? You steal WWF shit all the time. Just make him the commissioner. Make him the general manager. He's there to enforce whatever the fuck the rules of, or whatever. Like, hey, no more just everyone running amok and doing whatever the fuck they want. Moxley, you're not going to tough guy me. Think you're crazier than me. Whatever. I'll bite your goddamn nose off. And guess what? Guess who's with me? Well, it's a Paul White. And then fucking the Big Show is like, this is my second in command. He's my, you know, my enforcer in a way as well. You know, he's not going to go out there and like have these crazy ass matches with people, but Big Show could still choke slam a motherfucker if he has to, or just one punch dummy, someone who gets out of line with Mick Foley, and Mick Foley's crazy as fuck. And then you put someone else with them who can be, I don't know who's out there, but let's say like a Kit Wilson type character, or I don't know, maybe like a KC Navarro with AJ Francis, when he was with AJ Francis type character, like a guy who could maybe like work like you remember how Tajiri was with William Regal, and William Regal was like, Tajiri would go out and work fucking matches, and he'd kind of, there'd be a little bit of overlap there with, he was like the jobber guy of the fucking, of the authority, if you will. You need a guy like that. So again, there's lots of guys you could put in that position. Just fucking don't do Orange Cassidy. Or you know what? Maybe Orange Cassidy with Big Show and Mick Foley would kind of work. It would kind of work. Especially if you just beat Orange Cassidy's ass and treat him like a fucking jobber, which Tone wouldn't do. But yeah, you just find some third guy who can like go and work matches if they need him to, who's tied into shit. And then he just goes, the buck stops with me. Forget EVPs. I have rank above them, and it's me and Tony Khan. Like, Tony Khan is in his office. You come see me in mine if you want, in the boiler room if you want, whatever. Have a nice day. Bang, bang. That's what you do. Instead, you know what Tone's going to do? Mick Foley's going to be the special timekeeper for a fucking exploding barbed wire death match between Moxley and Ospreay or some shit after this whole Death Riders angle and All In. Okay, I'm Fantasy Mark booking it now. He's gonna be involved in some barbed wire death shit, and someone's gonna do a fucking flaming table spot. Okay, but Mick Foley, yeah, hire him up and get him talking and have him putting over some of your hardcore shit. I'm not entirely opposed to that. That, ladies and gentlemen, was AEW news that we didn't get to last night. Ichi Nisanda. And the best guys,
Tony Khan.
4 drops for AEW news because it's so epic. And patreon.com/pro wrestle times, guys. And check out the show from last night. I time-stamped it, okay? So you guys can jump in there and go right to the Niccolo Piccolo interview if you like. I'm going to get it edited there. There was a couple times where he dropped out, so I'll put up like an edited version of it and everything and get the audio up on the RSS feed and whatnot for you guys. If you just want to wait and listen to it that way, then that's cool too. What's chat saying? What's chat saying? What's chat saying? Niccolo Piccolo. NXT doesn't really do squashes. Itchy Sandy Vagina. I thought that was supposed to be Chris Daniels. What's everybody saying? Naraku. We're about to talk about Naraku. Foley participated in Joey Ryan stuff and Invisible Man stuff, so he's AEW level now. Yeah, you're pretty much right. Kaiju. And guys, become a member. It's only 99 cents. I do bonus shows once a week, or you can gift a membership as well. Okay, guys, let's get, when Stephanie Vaquer debuted, she had a 50-50 match with Ren Sinclair. Sinclair actually looked super pretty good coming out. Super pretty good, buddy. Top, super guy, Brian. I got to go listen to that interview still. Yeah, it was awesome. It's really good. And it was nice to get away with, like, we obviously had to address it, but it was nice to get him off of just like drama fucking bullshit. You know, it was cool to like really talk, you know, which I don't think he's had a chance to do really anywhere yet. So, good stuff, guys. And I just pulled an interview out of my ass. Like, there was nothing planned there. So I thought Nick Nemeth, you guys were like, Nick is in chat. NIC. I forget who, someone super chatted it in. NIC is in chat. And I'm like, Nick Nemeth? And you guys are like, no. I'm like, what? Such a dumbass. Okay, let's get into, we got WWE news. I wanted to get to this all last night. Could save it for Saturday's show. I don't know what's up, guys. I'm going to be watching that fucking Ronda Rousey fight. So I might go early on Saturday, or maybe we just like watch it, you know? And then the weekend after, I believe, is Grandes de Noches and Clash in Italy. Or no, it's Saturday night main event and whatever the fuck. WWE's got 2 PLEs like Saturday, Sunday, the one weekend coming up here. We should actually look up this schedule. I'm going to look that up before we get into WWE news. So, I mean, here. Next 3 PLEs. Here we go. Pulling it up, pulling it up, pulling it up. Pulling it up, pulling it up. So Saturday night's main event is on May 16. So, no, is that true? So that's this weekend. And then the weekend, and then 2 weeks. No, this isn't right. Chat's going to help me out here. Next week is Saturday night main event and Double or Nothing, right? Okay, thank you. Yeah, so see, I asked Grok, and Grok is just completely off on the fucking days. Like, this is what I mean. You can't just... It's crazy how Google is just AI overview for whatever you ask it now, too. Like, the first thing they do. Now, at least they cite, and you can at least, like, click on what they're citing just to double check that it's not just spurging out. But AI's cooked, man. Like, it can't even get fucking simple days right. You have to be like, no, today's this day. You know what I mean? So, okay, Grande Nachos. So, SNME is May 23rd. Right? We're just a bunch of felted redacts right now. We can't figure this out. WWE... May PLE. Okay, May 9 was Backlash. May 23rd is Saturday night's main event. May 31 is Clash in Italy, so a week later. However, what is the 31st? Isn't that a Sunday? Because Grande de Noches is on the Saturday. May 30th. Yeah. So Clash in Italy is May 31st, which is Sunday, and then Grandes de Noches. Right? Or is it Noches de Grandes? Whatever. But May 30th. So that's on Saturday. If I'm not mistaken, chat. And then it's Double or Nothing. So when AEW Double or Nothing date. Holy fuck, we're going to have a bunch of preview show action. Sunday, May 24. So Double or Nothing's on May 24 as well. Oh my goodness, chat. We are going to have to figure out what I'm streaming. Do I stream everything? We'll figure it out for sure. Sounds good. Let's strap in. I'm fucking pumped. There's a lot of wrestling. I mean, Double or Nothing, we'll see. They drew a really good house. We'll see how they do with that pay-per-view and whatnot. But yeah, dude, a lot of wrestling shows. But I'm just really pumped. You know what I'm pumped the most for? That AAA show and the fucking masks. Like, that is going to rule so hard. But yeah, this weekend, though, is the Ronda Rousey fight and then nothing. I think there's, let me check, a UFC fight. So I don't know. Maybe we could like watch the Ronda Rousey fight. Yeah, so they just have a fight night for UFC. Allen versus Costa. So Arnold Allen, with a record of 20-4, is taking on Melquizael Costa with a record of 26-7, and it's a featherweight bout. And then you have Duho Choi taking on Daniel Santos. I mean, there's nothing really... I mean, yeah, there's no real fights that jump out to me. I mean, it doesn't mean this card won't be good. Sometimes these cards where you're like, there's nothing really standing out here, and then everybody goes out there and fights with a chip on their shoulder. But aren't they just fighting from the Meta Apex or whatever? Like, ain't nobody going to be watching this. I'm sorry. And that Netflix card, boy, am I fucking interested to watch that and see how they pull it off. And also the state that it's in. Callie, they fucking require you to release the fighter pay, I believe. Or I don't know if it's a requirement, but it's like public information or whatever. So yeah, I guess I would make it a requirement. But we're gonna see like what everybody got paid and shit like that too. So it's super interesting, and I'm pumped for it. And I was looking at the open workouts and for Ronda and Gina, and Gina's looking good, sharp, loose. She fucking keeps her lead hand real low. Now I don't know if she's just thinking like we've seen Ronda's boxing and there's something she sees that we don't see. But damn, was she hitting those pads, man? She was keeping her lead hand super low. Now that is hitting pads. And again, MMA boxing's like a little different where you can get away with, like, look at Bobby King Green, right? King Green. His hands are just down and he's just like bobbing and weaving or just like slipping shots and fucking laying them on you, right? So he's also been knocked out pretty bad a few times. So, and then Ronda was hitting pads and her boxing looks way better than it did in the past, but it's still, and again, it's just hitting pads, but it's just like, okay, I don't know. They just look kind of like where they were, but they both look sharp. Like they look good for, if you want to say like their age and their time off has been a factor. They both look like they've stayed in shape. And I don't know if you guys seen Gina Carano. What's that movie where she gets in that fight scene with that dude in the hotel room and they just fucking scrap? I forget what movie. I forget what movie that is. But I mean, she was in Star Wars and shit. So, she's staying in shape this whole time. And then Ronda Rousey. Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be an interesting fight because, and sorry, we're just going off on a little bit of MMA shit right now. As far as just the Netflix card, it's going head to head with TKO, and they've taken shots at TKO and they've marketed it through AEW, so it is topical. You know what I'm saying? And Ronda Rousey is a pro wrestling legend, Hall of Famer for sure, for the WWE Hall of Fame, without question. And then both of these women, for sure, MMA Hall of Fame. It's sad that Gina. Hopefully, they just recognize her in the UFC Hall of Fame one day, but I doubt that'll ever happen. But I don't know. They cut a deal with Randy Couture for their newest video game, though, finally. So that just shows you it's TKO and not Dana White, because Dana White held that grudge forever. So maybe they just go, yeah, we'll get Gina. Like Fedor's in their fucking games. He's never fought in UFC. So maybe they'll work a deal out with Gina or something in the future because she should be recognized, She was like the Ronda before Ronda. But it's just going to be interesting. We're going to see Gina like her fights in the past. She's going to keep it standing, and then maybe she'll rely on her grappling if she feels the need to, which was never like world class or the best. She was kind of just an all around fighter. I just think if Ronda clinches her up, she's just going to get her to the ground and fucking submit her. However, Gina's pretty scrambly. She's always been scrambly. But again, she's been out of the game for like 17 years or, so it's like, is she as scrambly as she once was? Even in my early 30s, getting out of bed ain't the same as it was, I'd fucking kip up out of that shit when I was 22 or whatever. But, yeah, maybe she can make it a scramble. Now, here's the thing, and I don't know if Ronda still possesses knockout power, but Ronda, we saw it in the UFC. Like, she can, if she lands one on you, now it's not like Amanda Nunes Cyborg, you're dead power, but we saw in the UFC, like, she can knock bitches with knees. She fucking, when she kneed Kat Zingano, then just flipped her on her head and KO'd her. She one-punched fucking Betch Correa after Betch was talking all that shit. She was like, Betch, boom. You betch? No. That's my name. Don't wear it out. She can just like clunk, but can she still do that? And is Gina sharp enough? Because here's the thing, dude. Gina might be able to exploit Like, neither of them are particularly great strikers, you know? She might be able to exploit Ronda's striking and, like, stay at a distance and shit. You know? We know that's how you beat Ronda. You throw straight punches. And she ain't gonna fucking defend that shit. She's gonna come bull rushing at you. That's the way Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes got wins over Ronda. So maybe that's Gina's plan. We'll fucking see. And could it work? I mean, yeah, they're both. I expect Ronda to win. If I'm betting on it, Ronda's gonna win. But like, there is a clear-cut path with Gina. You don't really know. Has she been? I mean, I doubt it. We'd probably hear about it, but she could have been in the lab, like, working on fucking heel hooks for all we know. You know what I mean? Like, we don't really know what she's been doing for the last 2 decades. We don't know what the fuck she's been doing. You know, her cardio could be, like, mental to where she just fucking puts a pace on Ronda and just stays at a distance and fucking jabs out and just working her takedown defense the whole fucking time. We don't know, man. So I'm actually interested in it. And then you got other fights too, like Mike Perry, Nate Diaz. I mean, come on. That's just like an MMA fans. Like, if that shit was in Pride back in the day, everyone would be like, oh my God, you know, like that's just an MMA fans wet dream fight right there, you know? Because they're just going to scrap it out. Like, that's going to be crazy. There's some good. Francis Ngannou is fighting as well. He's the lineal heavyweight champion. So it'll be a good ass card and a good ass time. Let's get into WWE though, okay? So let's get into Worldwide Wrestling Federation news. And we're just gonna start with some thises and that's. Guys, and if you need a VPN and need to get protected online, 75% off 2-year signups. NordVPN.com/ProWrestleTimes. Support your goddamn data online and what you watch on Netflix and shit, and support PWT. So, speaking of Netflix, okay, and it is time for breaking news. If you smell who was roasted at the Kevin Hart roast, bam. So Kevin Hart got roasted, and The Rock showed up, and he was like the last guy to go up, I think, before Kevin Hart. And then I talked about how he tried to humiliation ritual Kevin Hart. Here was his final boss entrance. It was very pro wrestling. It was awesome. And I mean, he looks svelte. He looks really good. He looks good, man. I mean, he could come back. Who knows? WrestleMania is in Saudi. They put up the big bucks. But he came out to, we will rock you.
Finally! Daddy's home!
People were legit going apeshit. They fucking love The Rock in Hollywood, dude. People in the internet can say whatever the fuck they want about, like, oh, you know, Black Adam made the fucking studio. Blah, 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 blah. You think people don't want to make movies with The Rock? And look at how Hollywood goes crazy for this motherfucker. They love this dude. You don't become the most highest paid guy for no reason, you know?
Yes!
So yeah, it was awesome. He crushed it, and he was drunk as fuck. And yeah, go and watch the roast, man. I thought it was fucking pretty hilarious. So WWE has filed to trademark the WWE Superstar Scramble. Pal, that sounds like some Tony Khan shit, okay? I'm just being honest here. We move along, and Dan Spivey, Waylon Mercy, says thank you to Michael Hayes, WWE, and all of the respectful talents I met last night at Backlash. So he tells the story, and we'll listen to this here, and this is You Know What I Mean. I don't know if he has a pod or if that's just hashtag is You Know What I Mean. That's just a saying or whatever, but he has been at a couple shows, and he just mean mugs the camera, and somebody in WWE has an affinity for this dude, clearly, because they put him on camera. I think this is the second time, right? He showed up at a WWE event, and he tells the story here like they're in the area, and he just called up, "Hey, is there a chance we can come?" And then they got VIP treatment. Meanwhile, Bret Hart's like, "Oh, they don't even offer tickets and that, and when Goldberg kicked me in the head, I said I'm gonna need free tickets, and that so, Bret Hart's complaining about I don't even get tickets to SummerSlam and that, but again, they'd have to fly Bret Hart in and shit. Not defending. Bret Hart should get tickets to any pro wrestling. He should get in free in the VIP treatment to any pro wrestling event held anywhere in the world. But it's just cool. Dan Spivey, he got the royal treatment. Let's take a listen.
Hey everyone, Dan Spivey here. Well, for you that don't know it, last night in Tampa, the WWE had an event here called Backlash. Well, my wife Ann talked me into getting a hold of Michael Hayes and to see if we could go to the matches. Well, I thought that Michael would be able to get us in, but I wasn't expecting the kind of treatment that I got when I got there. I was expecting just to get a seat and enjoy the matches. Well, when we got there, they took us back in the back and gave us passes to go anywhere we wanted to go. And the reception that I got was just overwhelming. I got royal treatment. I could walk anywhere I wanted to, say hello to the guys, and it was just awesome because I wasn't.
Kevin Nash is like, yeah, but was there food? Yeah, but the catering sucked.
Expecting any of it. The receipts were just up ringside, the best. And
I said Kevin Nash, right? I might have said Kevin Hart because we were just talking about the roast, but you guys get what I mean.
I just want to tell Michael Hayes, thank you for doing what he did. And I want to tell all the boys that I saw.
Was you know what I mean? The Waylon Mercy catchphrase? That's what I mean. Like, when was Waylon Mercy, when was he like wrestling? Like I was fucking 2, you know what I mean? So like it's a little bit before my time, so I didn't know that. Thank you for educating me. Study and learn, Brian, as they say, right?
Tonight, people I've never met before for giving me the respect, and that goes a long ways with me. I just want to thank everybody. It made an awesome night for me and my wife Ann. Thank you, Michael Hayes. Thank you, WWE. Good night.
He cuts a better promo than Tone. What the fuck? What's going on? Tone, call up Spivey. Get some fucking lessons, dude. So El Torito was the Minihausen who teamed with Danhausen as the mystery partner. So there you go. They've done work with him in the past, of course. And it was El Torito, I guess, according to PWI. Maybe that's not correct. So AJ Styles was brought up by Wrestling Al or Wrestling AI. I don't even know. But for what it's worth, AJ Styles seemed to indicate on his Phenomenally Retro podcast that he is open to a long-term role as a producer for NXT after doing some work there during a recent visit. And AJ Styles just goes, nope. Now, that's very broad. That could mean like he's not open to doing that work, but it's just, I don't know. He seemed to indicate on his pod that he's open to a long-term role, as that you're extrapolating so much from probably a comment he made in passing. Right? So AJ Styles just kiboshed that shit immediately and hit him with a fucking... So Roman Reigns, his dates were announced, and this was fucking funny how TKO puts out these dates, Roman Reigns on some of them for June, and then they remove the dates, and then all the dirt sheets are just scraping, flip-flopping and flying and scraping the bottom of the barrel trying to get a fucking headline.
Poor people don't like AEW.
TKO goes, it was just a clerical error, or WWE, whoever said that, it was just a clerical error. And then they're still trying to make a story out of it. Oh, maybe it's a move, maybe, you know. And then they re-announce his fucking dates, and he's booked for 3 dates in June. So it was clearly just a clerical error. Like whatever dates they said, they weren't supposed to say them yet, or there was one too many, or they wanted to announce all of them at once and not just the June ones or whatever, right? So it was clearly just a clerical error, and it's so funny to see the dirt sheet scrambling so hard for a fucking headline And then, oh, he's a movie. He's not booked. You can write him off TV. Boom, he's on all the TVs and he's fucking. And I mean, that's fine if they did write him off TV. That's how you do it with the Tongan death grip, right? But boom, it was a clerical error. He's there for 3 dates in June. So it's pretty funny how that all plays out. And is that just to own the dirt sheets? Or again, is sometimes you have to give the evil Fed the benefit of the doubt when they go, no, we made a little mistake here. When they go, no, we stand on this decision we made. It's a mistake. It's garbage. When they fucking cop to and own up to their mistake. Oh, no, it's not a mistake. It's fucking, you guys are hiding something or whatever. You know what I mean? No pleasing the fickle IWC. So Wrestling Republic posted this and they said, crazy to look back on now, but Obafemi has a record of 0 wins and 5 losses during his stint on NXT Level Up. The craziest part is none of the 4 men who defeated him in singles action are even with WWE anymore. And so he went 0-5. And then Dijak had this to say. He goes, I don't even know if this is true or not, but it wouldn't surprise me. WWE will often quietly test wrestlers to see if they have an attitude problem, especially if they have big plans in store. Oba obviously passed with flying colors. I never heard anything even remotely negative, and he was a pleasure to work with. Yeah, Donovan, they also do the fucking stooge test too. And I don't know if you know about that one, but
Master need to obliterate.
So we move along here, and yes, I'm sure there's an element of that. Let's make him lose a few times, see if he complains about it. Aaron Bronstetter tweeted this out, and he says, TKO has reached a 7-event agreement with the state of Arizona that will feature UFC, WWE, Zuffa Boxing, and PBR events in the state over the next 3 years. So Brian Alvarez jumped out on a limb and was like, the events are in Arizona are for like Royal Rumble and Saturday Night Main Event. And then who knows? Just don't even listen to what he's saying yet. They announced 7 events. He's saying 3 of them are going to be all for WWE. And then the other 3 things are going to split the other 4 events. So who knows? Brian could just be totally off on all that. But yeah, a 7-event agreement, and see how states are like, oh, we need to do 7 events. Do you think AEW is going to come in and Paramount's going to go, yeah, we'll continue to air? Like, they're just going to get more and more in the WWE biz. And I get it. Paramount doesn't own TKO, but as Swerve Strickland said earlier, you don't know how deep these relationships go, bud. Right? And fucking Swerve's talking about CNN and shit. Fuck you talking about, man? You know? That shit's about to be Paramount. Warner Bros. About to be Paramount. Okay, so this is a whole new conversation. We fucking talking about CNN. But yeah, shout out Arizona, dude, doing their thing. So again, dirt sheets fucking up. Sean Ross Sapp posts this on May 10th. And he goes, word going around backstage is that WWE has been in contact with Gail Kim ahead of Monday's Raw, with at least one internal source expecting her at the venue. Production staff were reportedly informed late this week to keep details around a possible women's segment confidential. One person familiar with the creative plans described it as a short appearance rather than a full return angle. As always with WWE, things can change last minute. So again, just a built-in excuse. But there's definitely talk internally that something involving Gail is planned for 5/11. And Gail Kim says, I'm not sure where that came from. First time seeing this. And again, dude, she's suing, TNA suing her, and they're partnered with WWE. You really think they're trying to bring Gail Kim back for something? I mean, maybe. Who knows where Sean Sapp heard this, but she was just like, nope. You know? She was like, that ain't happening. So, interesting. And again, just blowing up people's spots, man. So, an indie wrestler accuses Lizzie Rain / WWE for stealing his heavy metal gimmick. And it's like, how do you steal a heavy fucking metal gimmick? Some of these wrestlers, man. Now, I don't know if this guy's cutting a promo or what.
Let's talk about it.
But indie wrestler Phil Noir Phil who? What? There hasn't been a Phil this unknown since Phil S. Marks. Oh. So Phil Noir took to Twitter, accusing WWE of stealing his heavy metal-inspired wrestling character. And he previously wrestled, so he doesn't even wrestle as this character anymore, but the heavy metal kid. Years ago, and blasted WWE for recycling his gimmick. Gimmick infringement. The Fed thought they could steal my gimmick and give it to some broad and get away with some broad. This fucking who thinks she can take my rock star gimmick. Goosh. I said, hey, bitch, get over here and suck my dick. Come on, man. What the fuck? Would you wear a leather jacket and throw up the metal horns and go, Edge is like, oh, I got something to say about that. That was my gimmick. Oh, Deuce and Domino. Deuce and Domino. Those are my cousins. I was the heavy metal kid at Extremely Extreme Wrestling in Jack Crack, Georgia from April 03 to May 03. Do your damn research. Originality is dead. So is he talking about in 2003? What the fuck are you talking about? You don't own the fucking heavy metal gimmick. He posted a picture of himself. Maybe he's joking, but he's got fingerless gloves like the Dice Man. Go! Or Big J. Okerson. He's got on a shitty vest, and it's not even leather, and then he's wearing green pants. And then Lizzie Rain's out here wearing a leather jacket, actually looks like a rock star. And wearing these green, like, lime... Here, we can just share this. She's wearing like these vibrant lime pantaloons there. So I don't know what's up with this guy, but he's fucking dented, buddy. That's all I can say. I don't know. So speaking of fucking dented, man, he's big, he's bad. He'll body slam your dad. Mason Rook is getting a big push on the CW and NXT. He is like the baby-faced assassin, if you will, right? And some people are upset by it. They're like, he looks like a lesbian or whatever. He kind of does. I mean, no, but listen, he's got that baby face thing, right? And they're kind of pushing him as like a devastator, and they're showing off like he can moonsault and fucking, throw guys in the air, and he can jump off shit and take out 5 guys and shit. And I'm not just talking about a couple cheeseburgers. Go. I promise I'll stop. It'll wear out eventually, okay, guys? And so he comes out to this music, though. So whatever. I like Mason Rook. I think in NXT he's been presented well. Robert Stone does a great job as well. It's crazy that you look at Robert Stone. I'm not saying he's not in shape, but like this was Robbie E or whatever, right? Like, it's crazy. He just looks so scrawny comparatively or comparably. Whatever. Fuck me. Here we go. Let's just listen to the music, okay? Move to the music. I'm actually just going to play the music. I'm not going to.
Please welcome.
So let's listen to the music. And this is Mason Rook. Remember, that's his name, right?
The NXT universe is standing for this man.
Now, Naraku's theme fucking cooks. This theme cooks, dude. I'm like, yes, this shit is actually it's like a throwback a little bit. When you hear it, you're like, damn, they're making some good themes here. That's because it is a throwback. Grizzly by Peter J. Jordan. And guess whose theme it was? Mason Ryan's. So Mason Rook's theme was Mason Ryan's, or is Mason Ryan's old theme, I shit you not. Just like with a little remix on it. And like they probably fucking enhanced it with AI or some shit, the quality. Is that lazy? I don't know, because there's a few wrestlers who had generic themes until they got their own theme. Now, this isn't even that generic, and Mason Ryan, let's be honest, he didn't really get pushed that far or anything, you know, like nobody like remembers his theme as, man, this was such a slapper or whatever. But it's crazy how they went Mason Rook, Mason Ryan, they're just going through the fucking alphabet in their catalog, and they went, why don't we use this? And it's like, my problem with this is, okay, let's just say he uses this theme, all good. If he makes it to the main roster and gets over, are you guys going to change it on him though, like you did to Stephanie Vaquer? Like, you better just be producing new shit if that's the case, right? Because I don't want that to happen, because this theme does go hard, but again, it's not Def Rebel, like it's like an old fucking... I don't know, man. It suits him. I'm down with it. But that should be the biggest criticism, I would say. Or not even, I guess, for rehashing it. But my criticism or my takeaway from this is, okay, use it, but you're pushing him hard right now. Don't change it when he goes to Raw or SmackDown because you don't have the rights, but for some reason on NXT you can get away with using certain music or some shit. If that's his theme, make it his fucking theme, because it suits him and it's a good theme. But I wonder what Mason Ryan thinks about that shit. And it's crazy, Mason Rook, Mason Ryan, like, who goes... That's like some Tony Khan shit. Again, I hate to go like everything bad is Tony Khan, but who just goes like, oh yeah, they had the same first name and the same first letter of the last name for their gimmick names. Let's give them the same theme. Was it like an accident and it just sort of fits him? I don't know. But it's crazy. Shout out the WWE Universe for like pointing, like seeing that, you know? Speaking of pointing things out, O'Shea Jackson Jr. recently told Triple H, and this is on the Ariel Helwani show. Shout out O'Shea. Shout out Ariel Helwani and the Ariel Helwani show. And O'Shea said that he told Triple H that the amount of ads make WWE programming almost unwatchable.
Mania was disappointing.
Night 2 was fun.
Okay, they see this is what people say, but as a whole, it was very disappointing.
Were you there or did you watch on TV?
TV.
See, I got to watch on TV. Being there, it's fun every time.
You were there?
Yeah.
Both nights?
Yeah.
Now you're just trying to flex.
I'll always flex.
I was.
I won't go next year.
I was. That's gonna. Do you think they're gonna stick with that?
I mean, I don't know what type of ink they used on that contract, but I'm pretty sure it's permanent. They gotta.
I just feel like there are certain, like when they cut to. I know you were right there, but I'm sure you saw when they cut to the dude in the broadcast booth. He didn't say a word. Adam Weitzman, the fan.
Oh yeah, I kept hearing about that guy.
There's certain things that aren't for sale.
Yeah,
they would never go to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman in the booth on ESPN on Monday Night Football and be like, "Yeah, we're being joined by Joe Smith here, who's a super." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it just feels
Joe
like
Smith
everything is for sale.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
So many can't be commercials during WrestleMania.
That is where I draw the line.
Or there can be an ad, but there can be commercials during WrestleMania. I don't want to that's just dumb shit to say that in general, but not during entrances and shit. You can't be depraving fans of that shit. And UFC's adjusting too, because Paramount faced backlash for during the walkouts. So now they kind of do like picture-in-picture ads more. And they're still skipping some walkouts, but people want to see the fighter walkouts. Sometimes you see it like when Jose Aldo walked out to fight Conor McGregor. Conor, you could see him come out and he had so much confidence. It was like, holy fuck. Jose Aldo, he just looked off. You could just see it when he came out. It was just like Conor had gotten to him. It looked like the pressure, like Joe Rogan noted it before. We want to see that. And in pro wrestling, it's a little different. But if Dragon Lee's going to spend his money on these mechanical wings or whatever the fuck, I want to see that. I don't want you to show commercials during that. I'm with Ariel.
Like the amount of, and I told this to Triple H and Stephanie.
No,
when I did Stephanie's
flexing
show.
left and right.
They text me happy birthday too.
Bro, was it your birthday?
February 24th.
Oh, well, this is
Best
like
day in the
3 months
world.
ago.
Yeah, but they did it. But it was in a group chat too.
Yo,
But-
just the three of you.
Yeah,
You,
just us.
Trips, and Steph.
Yep.
Golly,
It's my
what a
white
life.
parents.
Yeah, yeah.
So they, I told them, I was like, the ads and like the timing of them are horrendous.
Wait, you said this. So
Yeah.
it's happy birthday, young man.
No.
Much
This
lo-
is when.
Oh,
this is
okay.
like maybe
Thank you. And by the
5
way,
months
the ads
ago.
suck. No,
5-6 months ago,
Okay.
or something crazy like that. When I went to go do Stephanie McMahon's pod. Tell me your story.
Yes.
And afterwards, because I did it at WWE headquarters, Triple H comes down. We all, we're talking, yada yada yada. Then I brought up my transgressions.
Okay.
And I was like, dude, the ads are crazy.
What do you
Like,
say?
it's
What do you say?
almost-
If he said that to Tony Khan, oh, how dare you? You know what I mean? Look at the difference. Like O'Shea Jackson Jr. is comfortable enough. He says to Triple H, like, yo, listen, dude, this is crazy. Triple H listens to him, hears it out. There's not a bullying smear campaign online. With Tone, any criticisms, and it's just you get ghosted, can't be heard. I don't know. I don't mean to make it about AEW, but just really think about that. This dude said that right to Triple H, and he's like, we'll work on it. We'll work on it and play the game.
unwatchable.
Can you tell
And
us
like they know, but
they
like
agreed.
it's just about they're working on placement of them, maybe. Like I get it. Roman Reigns' entrance is 7 minutes long, but that doesn't mean that that's a time to throw the ads in. I should not. There should never be a moment where I miss Io Sky's entrance because we are back from commercial break.
Right.
It's just it's a level of respect for them.
Yeah, in the same way UFC course corrected a little bit, they will course correct on this. And, Triple H, he'll be able to talk with whoever needs to be spoken to about formatting. Like, listen, he's in the creative position. Like, they trust him with this shit. And TKO, as much as they go, we want these names on these PLEs. And yes, they might have an effect on that. He's still in charge of the creative elements. So that involves formatting. That involves like some degree of ad placement, I'm sure. Or, obviously if they're going to put like sin emojis during like a match, they're going to do it like where they think the kids are watching and stuff. But definitely I think Triple H will work with them to do more picture-in-picture stuff. The UFC responded favorably, I would say, because I don't know, their last event on Paramount, I thought it was really good. The pacing of it and the whole main card with Sean Strickland, Hamzat, I don't know. I didn't feel bogged down by ads, and I thought it was paced really well, and they just kind of went back to what worked for UFC. But I did notice like more, picture-in-picture in between rounds. So maybe like, okay, Dragon Lee, you get a picture-in-picture entrance. That kind of sucks balls too, but sometimes people do entrances and it goes picture-in-picture and you're cutting a promo in the back. Like that's an old school thing. So I can kind of fucking get down with it, I guess. But we definitely want to see those things. So, shout out O'Shea for like getting someone's attention and, who might have some clout or some swinger pull and just voicing as a fan I think that's fucking cool. He's willing to do that because there's a lot of like Hollywood booty kissers who would not do that.
It's fine, in the middle of a match, but like at least picture me.
Yeah.
Boom, there you go. There you fucking go. I didn't even listen to this.
But yo, backstage, this, you're an old school fan. Bob Uecker and Andre the Giant backstage, those backstage promos with Mean Gene in the locker room.
Yeah.
We had none of that.
Yeah,
none of that. Like it was all cut out. That's why I said it felt soulless.
Yeah, or do you guys remember like when Undertaker was quote unquote coming back and then it was WrestleMania 20 and you didn't really know if he was going to show up or not, and then all the legends were there and then like he was haunting people in the back, like people were hearing Undertaker noises and shit. Even just that, you need that element at WrestleMania. I think there's got to be a little bit of backstage stuff, and it was just all filled with ad stuff. So they're correct. They will course correct. They're correcting right now. WWE's correcting on like the prices for these house shows, these live event tours, and SummerSlam and all
It's
that.
for sure soulless, but I mean, like to get to $1 billion, I don't know what you got to do, but it sounds pretty soulless.
Yeah.
Then we're dealing with B's, not M's. We're dealing with B's.
What about
billions.
the product right now? Because people are getting. I have great respect and admiration for Triple H. I think he's a tremendous guy. By the way, I've gone to know him a little.
The best guy, some might say, the best guy, Ariel.
Bit. So this is not a knock on him, and I think.
Yeah. So shout out, Triple H, WWE, O'Shea, Ariel Helwani doing the damn thing that they need to be doing. So we talked about NXT a little bit, and Naraku, speaking of doing the damn thing, Naraku, with an impressive win in his NXT debut. He beat Lindsay Dorado, I believe he wrestled. And people are pleased because he did his New Japan shit. Like, he just kept his finish the same. He looks the same. He's wrestling the same.
Fisherman suplex out of the corner.
So you guys take a look at this. And again, shout out to CW, WWE. I'm glazing right now. TKO. They're going after streamers, but we're transforming this. So Transformers, more than meets the eye. Fido Sotogari. Right? So people are happy. And he looks good, man. I could see him on the main roster. Like, I really could. I don't think he's long for NXT. I think you just call him up and, I don't know, put together an evil Japanese faction with Shinsuke and shit. I'd be down for it, dude. It's worked for the Luchas. It's worked for the Luchas so good that you have fucking white dudes running around pretending to be Luchas in their own group. You know what I mean? So let these dudes go in, or don't lump them together. Maybe we get a program out of Shinsuke and Evil against each other or something, but Naraku. I don't really like how he says that, but either way. Speaking of not liking what people are saying, Jey Uso, he just says wild shit on Instagram, and people think he's drunk and just like talking shit, you know? And so he made this Instagram story where he said, I'm really the best in the game right now. Yeet. At the highest level. Yeet. Close to 2 decades. Yeet. But y'all know Abraham Lincoln freed slaves, though? It's like, wait a minute. Huh?
Wrestling's not fake!
I'm with you up until that last part. What the fuck are you talking about?
Bro. Sure thing.
So, kind of crazy. Speaking of crazy motherfuckers who say dumb shit, rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine reveals he wants to get involved with WWE. Now, this won't happen because wherever this guy goes, shoe stings and fucking like kidnappings and shit follow. So I don't know if, and besides, he'll for surely stooge to the sheets. Am I right? Huh? Anyone? Thank you. I get no respect. But he goes, I want to make an entrance in the WWE, but I'm so controversial and I've got so much bullshit. What's that thing about Randy Orton when he kicks you in the head? I got punted in the gym, so it's like regular shit. I can handle it. I ain't getting knocked out.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class.
So moving along here, speaking of people that TKO don't want to fuck with, Jake Paul, and this is actually who Tekashi, I believe, was talking to when he said this. When he said he was too controversial to be in WWE. Jake Paul said the same thing. He says TKO has banned him from attending WWE events to watch his brother Logan Paul's matches. And again, it's because he starts shit. He talks shit. He starts shit. People want to punch him in the fucking head. And there's possibly like conflicting, well, not possibly. There is like him calling out Dana White and shit. Again, you think Jake Paul's not allowed at WWE events. And him and Dana have crossed paths, and Jake Paul has gone to UFC events, but they don't publicize it. And he claims he's banned from them and shit like that. I think he did in the past. And it's all because Jake Paul's talked shit about Dana White. They banned him. TKO's banned this guy. Tony Khan's talked shit about Triple H and Shawn Michaels and shit. You don't think they're not going to fuck with AEW when it boils? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can see it with Jake Paul. Jake Paul's a way bigger deal than AEW, you know? So Jake Paul says there are certain points and facts I'd like to see pushed forward, like the UFC fighter minimum pay being $12K, which Jake Paul, thank God he does talk about fighter pay in the UFC. Now, if he really gave a fuck about it, he would put his money where his mouth is. He would say, I'm going to fight an MMA fight in UFC, and they do it. They gave Punk a fight, and he would ask for insane money, and then he would fucking bonus it to everyone on the card. And he'd break off. He'd take the fucking 20 million or whatever they'd agree to pay him, and he would fucking for the eyeballs, and he would distributed among the fighters on the card or whatever. Like, think about it. He gets huge paydays for these Mike Tyson shams and shit. So I like that he addresses the fighter pay, but he says that needs to rise. But from my side, I'm just having fun. The fact that one of the biggest organizations in the world, TKO Group, has this major beef with me. They won't even let me attend my brother's WWE matches because they hate me so much. So yeah, there you go. I wanted to see them team up. He did do like a run-in at one point and then got like judo tossed around, him and Big Mike Maljack Fox. So now in TripleMania news, we got a little bit of Lucha news here for main roster, although Rey Fenix is doing more appearances in AAA. Rey Fenix seemingly vents frustration about WWE booking. Now, here's the thing, man. They rolled out the red carpet for Rey Fenix. They give him the pyro. They give him the cool music. They give him the graphics that look like his brother. The problem is that there's something about Penta that just really connects Rey Fenix. They haven't really showcased that properly. And I think they need a cruiserweight title. Now, maybe there's too many fucking titles, or maybe just like fuse some titles and merge some titles and make room for a cruiser. I just think that so many guys like Nathan Frazier, Rey Fenix, so many guys would benefit from there being a cruiserweight division. I believe it, man. And it could be a healthy part of the show, especially when you're just doing like open challenges for the U.S. heavyweight title. I don't know, man. We could be getting Carmelo Hayes, Nathan Frazier, Rey Fenix, all sorts of guys fucking doing their thing. And really, I'm not saying bring back 205 Live. I'm not saying put them in NXT and whatever, but Rey Fenix and AAA, I mean, he's trying to be a star in the States. They've given him every fucking opportunity, I guess, as far as like look-wise and push-wise and shit, with like the gimmick and the production behind him and everything, but match quality and what he's been booked to do, I don't think they're really giving him the best chance. I think not putting the Lucha Bros together was the smart idea in hindsight, because look at how Penta's taken off, but they're going to run that into the fucking ground. And then they'll put the Lucha Bros together. I know that they'll do it in AAA, but let's face it, the Lucha Bros in WWE would fucking cook, but they're not interested in tag team wrestling. So Rey Fenix has publicly signaled frustration from his current WWE situation. And notice how the dirt sheets write all this shit, but then with Swerve, they just delete tweets and only Ringside News and Phil Marks talks about it. When WWE promoted Penta's Intercontinental title defense against Ethan Page, what a fucking group to be in, right? Fucking Ringside News and PWT. Ethan Page at Saturday night's main event. Phoenix posted on Twitter, "I love my brother, but I will like to have my chance." And again, man, things get lost in translation. I believe English is his second language. Not saying he doesn't know what the fuck he's saying here, but he's just saying, I'm happy for my brother, but I would like my chance too. Now, that's not venting frustration, maybe a little bit of frustration, a little bit of concern possibly, but he definitely wants his chance, and I see it for him. I just don't know what you do with him. Right? Like, what's the play? Get him involved in something in AAA? People just want to see the Lucha Bros back together, you know? So that's the move. Or you establish a cruiserweight division, or you have the LWO. This is my pitch, okay? This is my Phil Marks fantasy, Phil Marks booking, okay? You guys ready?
You fucking Mark!
You do an LWO invasion of AAA angle where it's guys like Phoenix and some of these guys and their heel. You can keep them babyface in WWE, Raw and SmackDown. You do it with the El Grandes. They're fucking completely flipped backwards. But you have a faction of WWE Lucha guys primarily, the Garzas, if they're even around. I don't know, they're like teasing they might be leaving WWE or some shit. Or maybe they have. I don't even fucking know. But you have Rey Fenix and some of these guys who show up and they're like, we're from WWE. You know, so it's the invasion. It's like you flip it on its ear, kind of, because when Eddie Guerrero started the LWO, they were fucking heels. And they were just like, it was more an answer to the NWO itself. If you want to be booked, Holmes, you got to fucking be in a group, kind of like those are the promos that he was cutting. Essentially, right? So what the original NWO was, though, was the idea of like, oh man, these WWF guys are like invading our fucking shit. So WWE buys AAA. All of a sudden, all the lucha attention's in AAA. So you get a bunch of guys pissed off about it who are signed to WWE, who then are WWE guys, quote unquote, who invade. We're the LWO and we're bad guys. And we invade fucking AAA and we take it over and we're beating dudes down. And who's going to join us? Who's not joining us? Etc. That's what you do with him. And then if it gets enough heat, then it can be on the main roster of SmackDown. You have the fucking heel LWO doing their thing. You know what I mean? Because what else do you do? Put him in a jumpsuit and make him drive a fucking lawnmower to the ring like Vince tried to do? Like, what do you do with him? Okay, he's a lucha that flips around. Can we get more? You know, like that's the point I'm trying to make. Let's give them something compelling. Okay, I just gave you the angle right there. Disgruntled WWE guys who are mad that they're signed to the big leagues, but they don't get fucking used. And meanwhile, these AAA motherfuckers are getting more shine. Who the fuck is Dr. Wagner Jr. and Psycho Clown? You guys walk onto my show and you're all popular. I fucking signed to WWE, you know? Fuck you, AAA assholes. Like, that would be a cool angle. And that, you know, it would be better than just like, here's Rey Fenix to flip around a bunch and fuck, you know? But the AAA Mega Campeon has now been defended on both WWE television, courtesy of Dominic Mysterio, and AEW television, courtesy of Kenny Omega. And that actually kind of fucking rules. That's pretty based for pro wrestling history, you know? And then somebody posted this, like, you know, from Jeff Jarrett, Vikingo, Nick Nemeth, Dom, Johnny Mundo, Rey Fenix, by the way, won that shit. El Messias. Hell yeah. So we move along here, and in AAA news, TripleMania and the best booker of the year, Undertaker. Which, again, how is Dave watching CMLL's My Favorite Show, and then he watches AAA and he doesn't like it? Why isn't he glazing AAA? You know? And even his own coworkers and people he employs, Dave Meltzer, that is, they've said that, you know, Dave claims CMLL's his favorite promotion to watch, but then we know he watches everything AEW. And he grades it the best and shit. Like, even they're confused. But TripleMania 34, night 1 and night 2. And I was like, dude, it's going to 2 nights. And I was corrected, and people were community noted that TripleMania used to be a 2-night affair. And so it's going back. It's returning to 2 nights, which I love that then. Tradition. And I just like the idea of it anyways, because, again, it's like their WrestleMania, and you might as well. But WWE posted, as announced this past Saturday at Backlash, and they got community noted. Backlash Lucha Libre AAA will hold its largest annual event, TripleMania, across 2 nights for the first time ever this September. And they own the company, and then readers added context. The first 2-night TripleMania was TripleMania 5V in 1997. I was fucking 6. So, yeah, it's funny that WWE got pwned themselves, and why they wouldn't correct that or just put out a new tweet, whatever. But the first time ever under their banner, but also how many TripleManias have been under their banner. But I like the night 1 and 2. You'll see some big names show up. Hopefully we'll see the return of fucking Conan. And yeah, TripleMania, man, doing the damn thing. A 2-night affair. I want to drink some coffee, guys. Give me a second. Over 200 watching. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit heart, hit retweet. We did this instead of Dave Meltzer, dumb moment. So, you know, last night I wanted to do this stuff. Niccolo Piccolo did a run-in. We did a very excellent 1.5-hour interview with Niccolo Piccolo, so be sure to check that out. I timestamped the last show, so you guys can just jump right to the interview if that's what you want to see. And Dave Meltzer, dumb moment, vote in the poll in chat on YouTube. I didn't put a poll everywhere, and we are live on Kick as well, but on YouTube, the poll reads, if you just give me a moment here, and you guys voted. When should I do Dave Meltzer dumb moment of the week? So we're tied right now. Get your votes in over on YouTube. If you're on X or Kick, come on over to YouTube, hit the like button, and then also vote in the poll. Do you guys want me to do a DMW stream tomorrow or Saturday? 35% of y'all say do it Friday, tied with 35% of y'all who say do it either day. And then 22% are saying do it Saturday. 8% are saying don't do it this week. So make sure you guys vote in the poll. And Plin saying message me post stream. Will do, buddy. Will do. But yeah, guys, vote. Get your votes in, and I will do a Dave stream. It looks like I'm doing one either tomorrow, or I can do it Saturday instead of like the typical. And then I could do it earlier and then watch the Ronda fight like I want to. So maybe we'll do that. I hope you guys like the thumbnail, my anime Asuka fucking kicking Tone in the face for the run-ins. I just trying a different look. I want everything to have its own look, but still be kind of on brand. So hopefully you guys like that. And yeah, I appreciate all you guys. You know that. So, and shout out, hanging in with me very late as that Niccolo Piccolo interview rolled on very late. I appreciate you guys for hanging out and checking that out. So let's get into this Asuka stuff. Okay. This is realistically the last thing I want to get into here today. And so Asuka, she was posting some cryptic shit, her looking out a window and then posting Frank Sinatra My Way. And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. So she knew for a minute, and a lot of people started speculating. Well, is she released? Did she just not accept the pay cut? What's going on? Maybe she's just done. Maybe they just don't want to re-sign her. Maybe she's just choosing to retire like a bunch of people have been doing. Right. And then Bailey posts this cryptic, sad shit of her hugging fellow, what were they? Damage Control. Right. And everybody's like, oh no, oh my God. And then Io Sky posts this. Our story comes to its final chapter with today's match. The moment the match ended, my heart was filled with all sorts of emotions. And so at Backlash again, they have this banger of a match, right? And it's so good that the crowd's chanting like, we want Kyrie. And then they shut it down with just great wrestling, right? It doesn't really stick. And then the crowd tries a second time, but it's like way less people. And then their wrestling's just so good, and they're telling such a good story that it doesn't stick. Then they try a third fucking time, but it's like 10 neckbeard marks going fucking, we want Kyrie, right?
You fucking mark!
And the wrestling and the storytelling's so good, and you could just tell these ladies were laying it all out on the line. There's a reason for that. After the match, Asuka just breaks down. They hug each other. They have this beautiful moment. And Io Sky says, our story comes to its final chapter with today's match. So this is fucking their last time. That was their last time wrestling on a big WWE PLE event right there. The moment the match ended, my heart was filled with all sorts of emotions. Meeting Asuka-san, spending the same time together, being able to learn so much up close. These are irreplaceable treasures to me. Thank you so much, Asuka-san. We love you, Asuka-san. And we do. The GOAT. The GWOAT. Okay? As Clarissa Shields would say. The fucking GWOAT. One of them. Asuka, one of my all-time favorite women's wrestlers. Personally, I rank her up there with you want to talk about Charlotte Flairs or whoever. To me, she ranks S tier. Okay? So, everybody's like, oh shit, she's really gone. So Mike Johnson drops this story from PW Insider Elite. the elite. There was a story making the rounds among some in WWE that Asuka was returning to Japan for an extended period to handle a family matter. Family matters? No. That will not be disclosed. This is not yet confirmed accurate. She is in Knoxville ahead of tonight's Raw, so she's there and ready to appear if WWE creative dictates. And then she has this moment with Io on Raw where she's like hugging her and she like carries her suitcase out and shit. And apparently there's a family issue. Now, who knows if there's a family issue? But much like Kyrie, there's something else to this that isn't just like she's cut or didn't resign or didn't fucking want to take a pay cut or is fired or was like fuck TKO or whatever, right? Like there's something else to it. So according to Fightful, a number of people spoken to reportedly indicated a lot of frustration around Kairi Sane's release. Okay, shut the fuck up. Though it wasn't communicated whether Asuka herself shared those frustrations. Yeah, I'm sure Asuka's just cool. Oh, everyone's mad, but it's not clear if Asuka's not down with that. One specific point of frustration was the amount of TV time dedicated to Asuka and Kairi's story, only for Kairi's side of the angle to never receive a proper payoff. And I mean, you could just make that up, realistically. Fightful could just say that, and no one can really deny it. But yeah, Io Sky and Asuka backstage at Raw. And the quote from Io is, Asuka says, I was looking for someone to take over my position. Finally, you became the person. I'm so glad it was you. I'm proud of you. Even if we fight, we will always be family. Goodbye, Asuka-san. That's what Io says. And just a beautiful send-off. It sucks there isn't more like story to it, I guess, or build-up. But if it's a family thing, then what do you want them to do? Work it into a shoot, pal. And so Asuka was not, and this is according to Fightful's Raw post-show Fightful Select. Asuka was not a part of any WWE cuts. And this is a quote from Asuka. And she is instead taking time away from WWE due to personal reasons. She says I found out definitively what's going on. Or who said this? So this is Fightful saying this. I found out definitively what's going on. And I don't want to miscredit the person who said it. But the person who said it said there's personal stuff going on. That's accurate. So just say Mike Johnson and PWI, asshole. I don't want to elaborate on what that is, but I was straight up told tonight she was not a part of any cut. She wasn't asked to take a pay cut, as best I know. She signed a new deal in 24. It was a multi-year deal. So that's the thing, right? Like because people were like, she just re-signed, so maybe. And even R-Truth said he signed like a 4-year deal. He just said that recently, and he's like, I don't even know. Like, I might not make it through the 4-year deal or whatever. And that's always a possibility, but going to Asuka's page here, I think she may have made a statement. No, she's just posting pictures of herself like a badass, right? Just fucking aura farming on the TL. But but this person from Fightful goes, obviously WWE did not want to have Asuka be gone for a while, so to speak, here's what I heard. Asuka had approached WWE and said, stuff I've got to attend to. It's back in Japan. She's going to be spending some time there. I don't know how much of that time it's going to be. Obviously, it's not what WWE wanted to hear, but it's something that they felt was important to honor and all that. Asuka's beloved in that company. When people naturally were like, was she cut? Was she asked to take a pay cut? A number of people hit me up and they're like, man, we can't speak higher of the job that she does. So fuck whatever these dirt sheet marks are talking about, but there's clearly more than meets the eye, Brian, right?
And
with her and Kairi Sane. Now, we heard an allegedly here at PWT again.
Allegedly.
But there could be a visa issue when it comes to Kairi. We know Kairi's beloved as well. And this makes a lot of sense why they're like, okay, Kairi's going, Asuka's just going after this match. So people are like, why didn't they wrap up the story and blah, blah, blah. I think there's things just out of their power a little bit. And they're like, we're just going to put a bow on this and move on because we can't tell the story. We can't do what we want to fucking do here fully. So I just want to send my prayers and best wishes and energies, if they're warranted or even needed, over to Asuka, and we will do it with a PWT air horn. Hopefully her and her family are all good for real, and hopefully Kairi's all good, and hopefully we do see her back in WWE one day. But if they're saying like that's it, as far as like that's the last time Io and Asuka throw down, then okay, how does Asuka come back? A one-off at a Mania or like a mini program to it? Like, what do you do with her? A Legends Rumble appearance? Like, it sounds like she might be done because some shit happened or something she needs to tend to. Whether that's true, who fucking knows? And that, ladies and gentlemen, was WWE. Oh yeah, man. Guys, I don't know when the fuck TNA comes on. Shout out everybody putting over the pod and listening to the interview. Putting over the interview with Niccolo Piccolo. Go and check it out if you haven't. Yeah, people are saying nice things. Niccolo Piccolo tagged me in something with Body Slam as well, and he's like, hey, are you guys gonna fire this guy? Try and fire this guy for fucking or whatever, having me on his show or whatever. I love that. I fucking love that, dude. So thanks, shout out Nick for that. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. There was a post, I wanted to fucking pull it up, but I just don't see. Yeah, okay, whatever. It's just I have so many fucking notifications, I can't possibly get to them all. Bragging, just to brag. It's a little brag moment. Guys, I want to thank you all for being here. We did over 2 hours. This was a special run-in edition of PWT, just to kind of do what we did last night. I will do Dave Meltzer dumb moment. Just stay locked in. We'll do it tomorrow. And I'll try and do it before SmackDown, or we'll do it Saturday, like before the Ronda fight, but it'll be early if we do it, okay? I want to say that I appreciate you all for being here. Hit like, hit subscribe, all that good shit. Tell a friend. And yeah, I'll see you guys, I guess, tomorrow or Saturday. Again, if you tuned in for Dave Meltzer, dumb moment. If you're just tuning into the show, just check the replay on this. We did some Tony Khan Cringe and did some WWE news. You guys rule. And yeah, I will see you next time. I've been Phil S. Marks. Peace.
Every booking is golden, you see. Perfect cards crafted for you and me. Yeah, the best guys, Tony Khan, it's true. Triple card, best damn booker in the land. 3 red cups stacked up, always in command. Triple card, living legend of the fight. Just a call away from making it right. Never see a back card, no way. Got the whole roster locked in for the day. A Crimson Tower, modern art. Triple cup. Triple cup. Every booking is golden, you see. Perfect cards crafted for you and me. Yeah, the best guys, Tony Khan, it's true. Triple cup. Best damn booker in the land. 3 red cups stacked up, always in command. Triple cup. Living legend of the